So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you may be, whatever time it may be, welcome. And thank you for joining me for this guided meditation on Tonglen, practice of sending and taking and sending, which is a practice, a compassion practice. My name is Shanté Paradigm Smalls. I am a student and teacher in the Tantric or Vajrayana Buddhist tradition. And that tradition really emerged coming from influences of Hinduism in what is known as India now, and then arising out of the Himalayan region, Tibet, Bhutan, Nepal. And really how I've been trained is in the coming out of the traditions in Tibet in conjunction with one of the indigenous Tibetan religions, Bön, B-O-N. And I was trained in a Western Sangha, or community of practitioners. After practicing, first being introduced to Buddhism in Zen, in Japanese Zen, Soto Zen, practicing in another Japanese community, the Sokogakai International, which is one of the schools in Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, another Japanese Buddhist tradition. So I made my way into the Tantric tradition in 2006, and I've been there ever since. Did most of my training in a place called Shambhala, and my guru is the head of Shambhala, and I am now studying with a few other people in different communities. Carla Jackson Brewer of New York Tara Mandala, and then Lama Rod Owens and Lama Justin Burgos of Bhumi Spartha. So, Tonglen. I want to first kind of give the view or the ground, and then talk about the practice, and then the fruition, and then we'll practice. So the view is that the Tonglen practices come from a mind training or lojong practices that were codified by a gentleman named Geshe Chekwa Yeshe Dorje, or Wangchenpa. And this is, these come in relationship to when one takes a vow of compassion vow, bodhisattva's vow, where the bodhisattva is a warrior of compassion or a compassionate being. Traditionally, it's a being who's reached great realization, and those beings can either be in human form or other forms of sentient beings, animals, plants, insects, or they've ascended. Maybe they're timeless beings. But in the human practice, one can take a vow to wake up and to help others wake up, and in fact, to help others wake up before one's own wakefulness happens. And I would say that one wakes up through working with other people. So Geshe Chekwa was a 12th century Buddhist practitioner, a great master, and he was part of the Kadampa tradition, which was a major school then. And as I said, he codified these practices of mind training. So sometimes people want to know, if we already have Buddha nature, if we already have this wakeful nature, why do we need to train our minds? And sometimes it's because we've let our minds go feral, or our minds, which is the Tibetans say that the heart is the seat of the mind, or the tantric tradition says that the heart is the seat of the mind. So our heart mind has been deceived by the three poisons: passion, aggression, and ignorance. And so we need to train our mind, just like we train our minds in shamatha and peaceful abiding. We need to train our minds to remember our Buddha nature, our bodhicitta, and to be able to then live that way. So Tonglen traditionally comes in the points of mind training, the main practice, and it's number 7. And it's the first one. It's number 7 in mind training, but it's the first one in the first one? Yes. It's the first one in relative bodhicitta. So absolute bodhicitta has to do with the view, and then relative bodhicitta is like what we can actually do in the world. So we can do this practice of sending and taking, which we'll do now. So please take a comfortable meditation position for yourself. That can be seated or standing, laying down, or well, maybe not walking in this case, but somewhere comfortable for you in a place that's relatively stable where you are. And we're going to just sit for a little bit to stabilize our mind. So in Tonglen, because we're doing compassion practices, which can bring up a lot of feelings, body sensations, memories, and discursive mind, we want to ground in shamatha, which helps us to stabilize, which offers us stability, clarity, and strength to do this practice. So first we need to stabilize. So I'll ring the gong. Just come into a relationship with your body touching the earth, feeling your feet and your seat in relationship to the earth, our ground, our mother, our home as earthlings. Feeling the weight of your body, gravity, the body's form, and our ability to inhabit the body. There's no waking up without the body. And just really feeling your body breathing. Feeling the movement of your body. And letting your mind rest in the feeling of your body breathing. Letting your eyes relax. Any tension in your body or mind, letting it melt. And then when you feel you've stabilized, begin to first just bring your attention to the in-breath and the out-breath. Still grounded in the body, the feeling of the body breathing. Don't let your everything go to the head. Grounding down to the earth. And from the earth we rise up to the sky. And then breathing in what feels heavy energetically, or stuck, or dense, or cloudy. And breathing out what feels light, clear, transparent, bright. Again, breathing in what feels heavy, dense, thick, maybe smelly, dusty. And breathing out what feels aromatic, light in its weight, bright, open. So we'll just do that for a little bit. You can close your eyes if that is easier. And then just rest. Come back to the feeling of the body breathing. Next, we turn our attention to something personal for us, something that's going on with us, emotionally, physically, interrelationally, at work, with family, with friends, or just something in our mind, something that's difficult. And we breathe in that difficult situation, whether it's illness and mental illness, or chronic condition, or a relationship, or even an irritation, a small irritation. We breathe that in. It could be fear, or anxiety, or anger, rage, depression, heartache. Just breathe in that situation, not to fix it, but to feel it. So we're breathing in and feeling it at our heart, mind level. So breathe in that difficult situation for you, that's personal to you, that's about you. And breathe out relief, stability, patience, whatever is helpful for you. Breathe in the difficult situation. Breathe out what's helpful in dealing with that difficult situation, or relief about that difficult situation. So we'll do that for a little bit. Again, you can close your eyes if that's helpful for you, or keep them open. And then just come back, let that dissipate, come back to the feeling of your body breathing. Next, begin to breathe in something related to others that you know personally. So not people you don't know, but a situation that's close to you, someone else's pain, but that you know. And you breathe out what would be helpful to them, what would be helpful to them in the situation. Not necessarily what you think would be helpful, but what might actually be helpful. So breathe in a situation of someone you know. Maybe you know them well, maybe you don't. Someone at work, a family member, a friend, um, a person in your community, another being, an animal, a plant. Breathe in their pain or suffering, whatever that situation is, and breathe out their relief of that pain or suffering. And then you can just let that dissolve and come back to a feeling of your body breathing. And now turn your mind to a more global situation. Could be groups of people who are suffering, uh, land, sea, animals, historical suffering and pain, a situation of war, a situation of rape, sexual assault, a situation of class oppression, a situation of fascism, political upheaval, uh, food insecurity, home insecurity, whatever comes to mind, a situation of animals who are threatened by human activity, or a mother herself who is drawing up our eviction notice. So just breathe in that global difficult situation and breathe out its solution or relief or help. And if, in this process, tears or pain comes up, if you feel overwhelmed, you can always just drop it and come back to shamat, come back to peaceful abiding, feeling the body breathing, and return to the practice if that feels doable, or just do a little shamatha and then end. You can also let your heart break and the tears or whatever the feeling arise comes, and if it's bearable, just let it dissolve into your heart. Let the breath hold it, cradle it, and also you can breathe it out. You can just drop that global situation and return to the feeling of the body breathing. And then we'll end with just breathing in a little bit of what's heavy and what's tight and what's dusty and stinky, and breathing out what's loose and what's open and soft, aromatic and light. Breathe in the difficulty, breathe out the relief. Then we just drop that, come back to the feeling of the body breathing. shamatha practice. Shake your body a little bit if you're feeling stuck. And so I just want to say what's the fruit, or what's the result of this practice and when we do it regularly? So one is an ability to work with difficult situations or difficult emotions about difficult situations. Another is really this idea of self-compassion and being able to work with what arises for us rather than running away from it, or sometimes judging ourselves, or sometimes ignoring or repressing. So we can acknowledge what's happening, and instead of even trying to go first to a solution, we can first feel, experience what we're actually experiencing. A kind of compassion for others, which doesn't mean, and this goes for ourselves, it doesn't mean excusing bad behavior or bad, or harmful or wrong ways of treating people, but it's touching into that pain and acknowledging that monsters are made, not born, and we all have acted monstrously in one way or another. And so it's this kind of love with accountability, or accountability with love. Not ignoring and not going to pitchforks, but really working with this idea of transforming our own small mind so that we can see what's necessary in a situation. How do we actually help to heal pain? Never losing touch with our tender, broken heart, which is the ability to be open and from which we can act with dignity and wisdom and intelligence and sanity. This practice also helps us work with equanimity so that we're not always looking for what's favorable, or we're neither an optimist nor a pessimist. We are in the moment. We don't have a preference for what's sweet or what's bitter. We're able to experience sweetness and bitterness and sourness and saltiness. And then maybe seeing the true nature of things, the true nature of mind, the true nature of existence. The fruition really is about the view being able to be embodied and experienced. So we have this view, or there is a view. That's the ground of existence. And the practice helps us to experience the view. So if there are questions, you can feel to reach out to us on our Facebook page, Weekly Dharma Gathering, or our Instagram page, Weekly Dharma, or you can email us, info@weeklydharmagathering, I believe, .com. And I thank you. Let's ring the gong here. And I will just say the Four Limitless Ones prayer, chant. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and the root of happiness. May they be free from suffering and the root of suffering. May they not be separated from the great happiness devoid of suffering. May they dwell in the great equanimity, free from passion, aggression, and prejudice or ignorance. Thank you all for joining me, and happy holidays and happy Gregorian calendar New Year. Be well.